All right, my friends, let's get to the first challenge of this Biddy-thon. You know, we're celebrating women for Women's History Month this March, really. At least we're supposed to. And I thought it would be fun to honor them with various tier list, chat. You know, putting woman in a box, literally. Each woman in a very specific box based on if they're a damsel or if they're a badass broad. And so let's go ahead and do this one. My damsels in distress tier list. Now, unlike, some lists, some people like to do the tier list. They got, the S rank, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, all that. I'm not about that. I like to have, very specific fun ranks, I like to keep it interesting for you guys. So, for damsels in distress, this is what I thought about for damsels, right? Because you got different types of damsels. Sometimes you got a damsel that's like, okay, they need to be rescued, but they're competent, though. They got captured because they were overwhelmed, but once they were freed, they assist the hero in their adventure. And so I guess they're kind of a damsel in distress, but they're proactive, right? And then you got, some damsels that are just useless. Just very, very useless. They need to be, taken care of like a child, chat, like a pet or something, right? And so that's what I was thinking about, and I figured, let's create some cool little tiers. And so from the bottom, chat, from the bottom for damsels in distress is I don't need no man. This is where the character doesn't really need a man to take care of themselves, chat. They don't really need to be rescued, right? They're good on their own for the most part. Maybe once they get a little bit of help. But for the most part, it's all on them. It's all on their shoulders, right? So that's the lowest. After that, I have needs help, but's competent. They were definitely kidnapped. They definitely need to be rescued. But then after that, they assist the hero through a lot of the rest of the movie or the team or what have you, right? They're kind of on equal footing after their rescue. And then after that, when you have classic damsel, this is a damsel. It's like damsel in distress. They need to be rescued. They're screaming and everything like that. Yeah, they're not annoying, but you got to get them. You got to get them. And then the last one, which is top tier damsel in distress. I have annoying, loud, and useless. You can't do anything. You are simply there to be rescued. You're going to complain about it. You're going to complain about it. And it's just going to be rough. It's just going to be, you're the ultimate damsel in distress. That's how it has to be, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it, chat. So starting with a damsel in distress I'm a big fan of. I really like Evelyn. Evelyn from The Mummy, played by Rachel Weisz. You know what? She's beautiful looking. Very beautiful broad. She had a very beautiful damsel. She's smart. She's very smart. She does need rescuing a lot, though. She does need to be rescued, right? And, she's often, kidnapped by Imhotep. He gets her because he wants to, put the soul of his beloved inside of her. But it's very complicated. It's very I don't know why Imhotep made it so complicated. But he wants to do that. And then Brendan Fraser and all those other characters, they got to get her. They keep got to do that in all these movies. I really like her. I'm going to say, you know what? I don't think she's a classic damsel. I think she's a little more proactive, and she actually helps in action scenes, right? She's not a physical character, at least not until later on in the sequel. But she's very intelligent, and she provides the hero with need-to-know information to defeat the enemy. So I'm going to say needs help, but is competent, chat. Needs help, but is competent. She's going to go right there. Yeah, unless she's in the library, it's true. Then she'll just knock over all those fucking books. All those books are going down. All right? Oh, here we go, chat. Mary Jane Watson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, chat. I mean, every villain is capturing her. From the Green Goblin, MJ and I are going to have a hell of a time. Gets her. Doc Ock gets her, right? I'm going to peel the flesh off her bones unless Spider-Man, you get Spider-Man to come after me. And then Venom's just like, how you doing? Hey, gets her, right? So constantly getting catched. But then after that, she's loud and she's annoying. She's also a really shitty girlfriend. Not just to Peter Parker, but to other people. I'll tell you right now, Jonah Jameson Jr., he was a good person. He was a good man throughout Spider-Man 2, right? He stood by her. He was stood by her. He was supportive and everything. And then she stood his ass up on the altar. You couldn't have told him, before you paid all this money, you couldn't have told him maybe a couple days beforehand when you realize I am in love with Peter Parker. Just shitty. She's a shitty damsel in distress, chat. She's annoying. loud and useless. The ultimate damsel, one might say. After that, oh, here's another one, chat. Bella Swan. Bella Swan, again. She's not even, she's certainly annoying. Certainly annoying. Got to stick up her butt for most of those movies. Not really loud. Well, she is loud when she has her night terrors. Remember the second Twilight film, chat? Remember that one? It's the worst one. I think it's New Moon. That's when they introduced the werewolves. Like, you see them transforms. I know Jacob's in the first one, but he transforms into a werewolf in the second one. Anyway, and then Edward's like, I gotta go because for some reason I can't be with you because there's like this evil secret vampire cult or whatever they control. I don't remember. Anyway, he leaves and she just starts having these night terrors, just screeching and screaming in her pillow in her bed, and it scares the shit out of her dad. He's my favorite character. Sad Dad is definitely my favorite character in the Twilight series. But she puts him through the ringer, and she constantly puts herself in danger. Even when she's just by herself, there's no threat. Like, she chose to ride a motorcycle, even though, like, Edward is, like, using, like, a force projection or something, telling her, like, don't do that. Don't do that, Bella. It's bad. So she's, oh, my God, she's the worst. Annoying, loud, and useless. I'm going to say even more so than Mary Jane Watson, chap. Yep, she's up there. She's high up there, no doubt. We got the broad from King Kong, Chad. The broad from King Kong. You know what? She's just a classic damsel. I think when you think of a damsel in distress, I think she might come to mind immediately before, taken by the great ape, the giant ape Khan, and then all the heroes and the sailors and everyone else. They got to go. They venture into Skull Island to rescue her. She's not annoying or anything. Ann Darrow, thank you. Ann Darrow. I was like, what's this girl's name? The classic one. And but she's not annoying. Like, she's loud, but I understand why. Like, I get it. And I wouldn't even, useless. No, she has her talents, certainly. She clearly charms Khan. She charms him. So I'm going to say she's just a classic damsel in distress, Chad. She's just, you know what you're going to get with her. Belle. Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Honestly, even though she falls in love with the Beast in the movie, right? She doesn't really need a man all that much. Like, she's very intelligent. She's savvy. She takes care of her father, and they take care of each other, really. Like, she rebuffs Gaston at every turn because he's an asshole, and she's the hero of the film. So I'm going to, even though, she gets with a man in the movie, sure, or a furry man, and to be, perfectly honest. She doesn't need him to feel fulfilled, feel like a good person, right? So I'm gonna say she's like, I don't need no man. She's not your classic damsel whatsoever, Chad. She's good on her own, honestly. She makes the Beast life better, honestly. That's what happens. Cinderella, she has to deal with her evil stepmother, her shitty, ugly stepsisters, constantly mistreated and all that. She does charm the animals, right? And they help her out. Like, you've always been nice to us, the birds and the bees and the mice and everything. Like, we love you, Cindy. And so they make a dress for her, and then the fucking evil stepsisters and the stepmother, they tear it up. It's terrible. But then she has her fairy godmother intervene to help her out, right? So she gets a lot of help. And then eventually, she has to run away because then the magic will fail, and then she's like locked up by her evil stepmother and stepsister, and then eventually the princess. So I'm gonna say she's a classic damsel. She's a classic damsel. She also likes books, this too. Yeah, classic damsel. Not annoying, not bad, but she needs to be rescued. There's no question. Bella Swan. So Bella Swan, played by Keira Knightley in the Pirates of the Caribbean film. So in the original movie, she's very much a damsel in distress. She gets into a few fisticuffs, especially towards the end of the film, but she's very much a damsel. And then in the other ones, she becomes a little more. I don't like those movies. I really don't. I don't like the Dead Man's Chest. I don't like the World's End, what the hell it's called, or any other ones that came afterwards. But that first one, she's very much a damsel in distress. Like, I'm gonna say. She needs help, but is competent. Like, she's not annoying. She does fight back. I believe she'll gouge out an eyeball or something. So I'm going to say she's right below Evelyn from The Mummy. That's good old Elizabeth Swann. Gracie Law from Big Trouble in Little China. So Gracie Law, obviously, she's the one that, realized there was like a human trafficking operation under David Lopan. Like, she provides a lot of necessary exposition. Also is very much kind of like the paramour, if you will, to Jack Burton, kind of his love interest. Right, you got that. Now, she does indeed get captured, right, and that's along with Wayne's fiance, right, and both Jack Burton and Wayne got to go and get him, along with everybody else. Now, when she is eventually rescued, she does help out into some of these action scenes, kind of. She is proactive. I'm gonna say she's not a classic damsel, since she got a mouth on her, so she is loud. I'm gonna say needs help, but is competent. But she's the lowest of those so far. Definitely the lowest of those so far, in my opinion. Here we go. Sidney Prescott. Sidney Prescott, Chad, from the Scream franchise. We have a couple of, I think, final girls in this, couple of Scream queens. Sidney Prescott, I think, is one of the greatest Scream queens of all time in the horror genre. Love her character. Neve Campbell did such a terrific job. I mean, honestly, Chad, yes, it's like she is occasionally rescued by her friends, but she puts up a really goddamn good fight against Ghostface, right? And even in the movie, even though she technically has like a boyfriend in that first film, Billy Loomis, played by Skeet Ulrich, turns out, Billy and Stu, they're ghost faces. And she has to fight them both. She takes it upon herself, but with the help of allies, though. With the help of allies. So I'm going to say, she don't need no man. I mean, by the end of the film, she kind of proved that. I don't need a goddamn man. I don't need a boyfriend. Because she shot him in the face. And she dropped the TV on the other guy. So I'm going to say she's, right here. She's pretty high. I'm like, I don't need no man. All right, after that, I got, the Liam Neeson's daughter from Taken. I mean, she's a classic damsel, chat. I wouldn't say she's loud. She's not annoying. She's not loud. Not useless. I'm gonna say she's a classic damsel. We're gonna put her right there. She's right there in classic damsel. I think that makes sense. Vicky Vale from 1999's Batman. I mean, she's a good photographer, but if pictures aren't involved, then she can't do anything. Okay. She's constantly being rescued by Batman multiple times throughout the movie. She's pretty much being kidnapped by the Joker several times in the film. But I don't think she's that annoying. I don't think she's loud, and I don't think she's that useless. So I'm going to say she is a classic damsel. Classic damsel. I'm going to put her right over Liam Neeson's daughter. I think that makes sense. That's going to go right there. Oh, here we go. Marion Ravenwood. Of course, from Raiders of the Lost Ark and the other Indiana Jones films we won't talk about. But Marion, one of my favorite Indiana Jones love interest, kind of the favorite Indiana Jones love interest of me. Great character, played by Karen Allen. I like a girl that can drink. She can fight back. She can punch him. She can beat up some of those Nazis, right? And she owns her own business. Pretty competent. I like her dynamic with Indy. It's very, very fun. She does get kidnapped several times, though. She gets kidnapped, especially when they go. Initially needs rescuing when, Toten the Nazi comes in there with his guys in brownface. Gotta fight them. And then later on in Egypt, she gets kidnapped multiple times there. So the Nazis, obviously. So I'm going to say needs help, but is competent. I'm going to put her over. Oh, man. The thing is, I'm going to say Evelyn is still the leader on that, which might be controversial, but it's okay, she does give Indy the amulet, which is what they need to find the location of the Ark of the Covenant, obviously. But I feel like Evelyn, she because of her vast knowledge of antiquity, of history, she's a little more competent than Marion. All right, so I'm gonna say Marion right behind Evelyn. They're kind of two birds of the same feather, if you will. Birds of a feather. All right, we got Lilu. Mila Jovovich, multi-pass and all that from The Fifth Element. Again, often has to be rescued. Can't speak very well. She speaks a bunch of gobbledygook. Bruce Willis has got to put it like a fucking bell on her to, take care of her. But she is competent at times. She does help. She has multi-pass. So I'm going to say, she needs help, but is competent. So I'm going to say I'm going to say right there. Maybe a little bit better than Gracie Law. Because she didn't have a multi-pass to open up some of the areas in David Lopan's lair. So I'm going to say that right there, right there. Lois Lane. The late, great Margot Kidder chap played Lois Lane, 2 of the Superman films. Was it 2? Was she in the third one? I don't remember if she was in the third one or not. But loved her in those first 2 movies. Her and Christopher Reeve's chemistry were great. Lois Lane, fucking ace reporter, breaking major stories, exposing the fucking truth. Can't spell to save her life, Chad. No idea how to spell words despite being a journalist, which is very funny, very ironic. However, she does need to be rescued a lot by Superman. I mean, this is kind of, she puts herself in danger. Helicopter scene, you know. She died in the film. Superman had to, like, reverse time by spinning the world around its axis, right? So I think she also falls under needs help but is competent. I'm going to say right here. She's right after Marion Ravenwood. Her and Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder and Karen Allen, right next to each other. It could be sisters, honestly. It could be a part of the same family. Moana. So, you know, she just had her sequel come out not too long ago. I didn't like the movie all that much. Didn't like her. I like Moana as a character. I love the original Moana film. She's got a hell of a pair of pipes on her. She can belt out a tune. Really good at that. You know, is very competent, a really well-respected member of her community. A lot of responsibility's been placed on her shoulders, right? And she wants to be a good leader for people. She actively wants that. You know, she's like, I don't want that responsibility. No, she like goes like head in, like, no, I want to take this on. However, she also wants to rediscover her people's history with you know, sailing. Wayfinding and all that stuff, you know, sailing the seas and, you know, expanding and you know, discovering new places, right? I think that's really cool. Now, does she need help in the film? Yes, she does need help in the film by Maui. There's no question about that. He comes in there, teaches her how to sail. You know, she needed him. She needed him because if he was not there, she would die, right? And they have an interesting relationship. You know, it's not like you know, a damsel meeting a hero or anything like that. It's not a romance, which I thought was kind of cool that they didn't lean into that. Even though originally, apparently, like they were gonna have like a romance angle in the original Moana, but they didn't. So I'm gonna say she needs help, but is extremely competent. Extremely competent. So I'm gonna say she's like right there. She's pretty high on that. The highest. Mulan. Oh, here we go. Mulan. So again, you know, she takes it upon herself to represent her family in the war against the Huns. Chat, the Huns. And you know, the Chinese military, they wanted the father, but he's got a bad leg. He can't move very well, and so she pretends to be a boy and she joins the military to learn how to fight. Now the thing is, she didn't, even though she knew some fighting skills, she needed training. She needed help with that, and you know, they did the whole song. Whatever the hell, I forget the song, the To Be a Man song. That was a good song. I like that in the movie. But she did need training, and she became very competent. There's no question about that. And so I'm going to say, I think she, even more than Moana, I think she's the highest on this. Needs help, but is extremely competent. Make a man out of you. That's what it is. I'm going to make a man out of you, you woman. There you go. And they did just that. They did just that. So I'm gonna say, yeah. She doesn't need to man, but needs to make a man of. Yeah, she don't need no man. That's very well said, Tommy. She don't need to man, but needs to make a man out of herself. Agreed. See you there, Spot Green, Celtics, so we're living on prosper. Pleasure to have you here. So I'm going to say that. She needs help, but is competent. Willie. Oh, my God. Willie Scott from the Temple of Doom. I think she is one of the most annoying, loud, and useless damsels in distress in cinema history. Now, I like Temple of Doom for all its flaws. It's a fun film. It's much better than the most recent Indiana Jones sequels. Infinitely better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and the Dial of Destiny. I already forgot the name of it. Right? But Willie, I would argue, is outside maybe the racism. But the racism, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny in Temple of Doom. It's like, this is not what Indian people eat. But she's just like, she's rough. And she's just literally there because Kate Capshaw was having sex with Steven Spielberg. I mean, that's pretty much why she was in the movie. So, I'll tell you what, though. I think, oh, man, I think she's like right in between like Bella Swan and Kristen Dunst's MJ. I don't think that's very controversial. I don't think that's controversial at all. I think, you know, like, Kristen Dunst at least had a couple of good scenes. Like, Willie don't really have any good scenes. really have any good scenes. I don't mind Willie, but her job is to be pretty, scream, and get gapped. I mean, that's, damn classic damsel in distress. I'm a little annoyed by her. So I'm going to say she's right there. Zelda. Zelda from The Legend of Zelda. Now, listen, there have been many different Zeldas across The Legend of Zelda video game series. And sometimes she does not need help. Sometimes she is a very progressive character in that she's the one that ends up like rescuing Link, or is a very important figure in the rescuing of Link and bring about, harmony back to Hyrule. But a lot of times she does need to be rescued, okay? And so I'm going to say she is a classic damsel, kind of like, other than maybe one other person on here, is the quintessential classic video game damsel. I'm going to say, she's going to go right there. Gonna go right there. Princess Leia. Here we go. Princess Leia, Chad. One of the most recognizable female heroines in all of film, in all of cinema. Of course, played by the late, great Carrie Fisher. Very well in all the films in which she appeared in my opinion. Of course, when we're first introduced to her, I mean, she's a fucking princess that, she's not afraid to speak her mind. Right? Not afraid to talk down a dickless cyborg like Darth Vader, right? She'll do that, but does get captured, interrogated horrifically, and needs to be rescued. But once she's rescued, she is just like, she grabs the gun, and she's fighting with the boys, right? And so I would say damsel, but she's competent. But she needed help. So I'm going to say, she's up there. I'm going to say she's like right next to, right there. And she's the leader of the rebellion. She's one of the major leaders of the rebellion, chat. And she was a senator and a princess. A woman of many titles, many professions. So I'm going to say she's pretty high up. Pretty high up. I'm going to put her right next to Mulan and Moana. That's pretty good. It's pretty high. All right, who we got next? Oh, yeah, Princess Andromeda from Clash of the Titans, chat. I mean, most of the movie, she's just chained up. She's just, used to get Perseus, to rescue her, defeat the Kraken and all that. And, she's not annoying or loud or useless, really. She's just like, I'm just a damsel. This is what I got to do. All right, I understand. And so I'm going to say she's just a classic damsel. You know what? She's going to go kind of like right. I'm going to say right there. Yeah, a little bit better than Vicky Vale. There you go. All right. Oh, here we go, chat. Princess Buttercup. Princess Buttercup from The Princess Bride, a fantastic film, one of my favorite Rob Reiner movies. As You Wish and all that. Very fun character, but literally, I mean, that's what Wesley's trying to do. He's going there to rescue her with the help of all of his friends. I'm going to say she's a classic damsel. Chad. She does a really goddamn good job. Really, really good character. Really fun character. I'm going to say she's right there. I'm going to say she's even better than Zelda. There you go. Princess Damsels. I mean Buttercup. Yeah. That's true. Deadpool, thank you. In regards to Princess Leia, that you're absolutely right. She killed the galaxy's most powerful crime boss. You got to give Leia that credit. So there you go. That's why she's hot. She needs help, but is competent. Yeah. Oh, Princess Daphne, right? Daphne from Dragon's Quest. Again, classic damsel. Needs to be rescued. She's just there to look pretty. She's not loud. She's not annoying. You want to rescue her because she's so gorgeous, right? She's very curvaceous. She's great. So I'm gonna, again, another classic damsel. I'm gonna put her like right next to Zelda. The two video game broads. Very nice. Dragon's Lair. Yeah. Princess Jasmine. I love Princess Jasmine. She's one of my favorite Disney princesses. She looks fucking great. She's got a lot of sass to her, chat. She speaks her mind, right? But she has to be rescued. Aladdin has to rescue her because that merchant was going to chop off her hands for mistakenly stealing that piece of fruit, that apple or whatever, because she didn't understand. She don't understand, like, the classism in Agrabah, right? And then, of course, Jafar, when he establishes his domain through the use of the genie, he basically forces her to become his slave girl, right? His server. So there is that. But she's smart. And she can she works well with Aladdin, with all of his friends. So I'm gonna say she needs help but is competent. I'm gonna say she's right there. Pretty good. Damsel but competent. Yeah. Princess Peach, again, very simple. I mean, other than maybe Zelda being the iconic damsel in distress princess, Princess Peach might be even more so, to be perfectly honest. Now, they have made her more competent in more recent entries of Mario, giving her own spin-off games and stuff. Obviously, in the movie, she's more of a fighter, right? She's like a leader, defending her nation of little mushroom abominations, right? Casfe! Heart hands, mother, children, Casfe. Casfe, thank you so much for the very generous, that 120 Doge biddies. Thank you so much for the doggy bits, Casfe. It's so good to have you. You're welcome. We hit every single goal today for the biddy-thon. It's amazing. And now I'm just talking about all these broads. Right now we're doing damsels in distress. I got my whole list. It's very, very fun. But thank you, Kaz. Hope you're having a very nice Friday, Kaz. Good to see you, Kaz. Chat, check out Kaz Faye's various platforms. She's a singer. She's a songwriter. She posts all of her stuff on her social media. Check it out. Check it out. Yeah, no, thank you, Kaz. So good to have you. Hope you're having a very nice Friday. I was just talking about Princess Peach and how she's kind of like the classic damsel. Not loud, not annoying, and she's not obnoxious in any capacity, but she needs rescuing. Although more recently, she's a little more common. But I'm going to still say she's a classic damsel. I'm going to say she's like right there next to Zelda. They're they're very similar to each other. Where now they're even more proactive in more recent entries. So I feel good about that. All right. Rachel, we have Rachel Dawes from the Batman, the Nolan Batman trilogy, or at least the first two movies, because as we know, she dies. She dies. She literally gets kidnapped, and then she blows up. The Joker blew her up, so that didn't work out very well. She was very much a damsel in distress. I mean, throughout Batman Begins, Batman has to rescue her and everything. She does. After that, she does help Joffrey Baratheon in that one point in the film, right? She helps him. She does electrocute the Scarecrow, fires the thing into his mouth. The tases him. Did that. And then the Dark Knight, she did punch the Joker in the balls. She did punch him in the balls, and he's like, I like that. He did, yeah, but she went from damsel in distress to damsel all over the place. Yeah, she did. I don't know if I could go competent. I don't know if I can go fully competent with her, guys. I don't think I can do it. I really don't. Thanks, you two agreed about Peach. I like her. Yeah, she's really fun in the film. She does really good. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy does a good job in the in the Mario movie. I'm gonna go classic damsel, but she's like the lowest on it though. She's almost needs help, but is competent. But yeah, she gets it rough. Yeah, I'm gonna put her right there. Might be controversial. I'm gonna put her there. It's just hard. I can't make up my mind. Let's see here. Whitney Houston, chat. In The Bodyguard, I mean, she's damsel. Kevin Costner's got to come in there, got to help her. She's having a rough time, chat. She's having a rough time in that movie. So I'm going to put her, she's very much a damsel in distress. Very distressed throughout a lot of that film. Very, very distressed. But I'm going to say, I think she's right there. She's pretty high on there, chat, I'd say. Oh, man. And then what's next? Oh, we have Rapunzel. So she does need to be rescued, but once she's rescued, chat, she's pretty competent. So I'm going to say needs help, but is fairly competent. I'm going to put her right next to, her and Jasmine can hang out. I'm going to put her a little over Jasmine. There you go. I feel pretty good about that one. Oh, the princess from Conan the Destroyer. She is the worst. She's useless, constantly endangers herself, gets in a shit ton of trouble, Only becomes competent at the very end, at the 11th hour of the film. But I don't think that's enough. And she's just annoying, loud, and she's pretty much useless. So it's pretty high. I'm gonna say she's pretty high up there. I'm gonna say she's I think she's even more. Ooh. I'm gonna put her right next to Bella. I think Bella's the ultimate one. There she goes. Snow White, I think is a classic damsel, chat. Especially the original, the OG, cartoon. Snow White, I mean, she runs away from the evil queen, gets the help of the dwarves, of course. You know, they're trying to help her out. So I'm going to say, yeah, Snow White. I'm going to put her right next to Cinderella. Classic damsel in distress. There you go. Here we go. Oh, Faye Valentine, Jeff. Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. Again, is very competent, is a badass in her own right. But she does need to be rescued by Spike Spiegel and the gang several times throughout the entire show. But she also rescues them. And so I would say needs help, but is competent. And sometimes can be a little annoying. But they explain that in the show as to why. So I'm going to say, you know what, she's pretty high up there. I'm going to say she's right there. Right there. She's good in a scrap, too. And the last one, chat, we got Laurie Strode. From the Halloween franchise. Again, very intelligent. Did all the right things in the movie in order to not be killed, although she keeps dropping the knife and she should have double tapped. She doesn't double tap. But then even throughout like the rest of the series, she becomes more and more badass. So I think like her and Sidney Prescott. I mean, and she don't need no man. That's the other thing too. It's like, I know she's going on about Ben Tramer, whatever the hell his name was. And then 2, like that one guy gets bonked in the head and is probably dead, you know, and yeah, I think she's up there. She's kind of like the Scream Queen. Her and Sidney Prescott. I think, man, this is hard. Ooh, which one do I like more? This might be controversial, but I'm going to say Sidney Prescott's a little more competent. Right? I'm going to do that. Chat. I don't need no man. They don't need no man, those 3. There you go. That's my list for damsels in distress. So starting at the top, chat, for the most damsel-y. The annoying, loud, and useless damsels. I have Bella Swan from Twilight, the princess from Conan Destroyer, Willie Scott from Temple of Doom, and Mary Jane Watson from the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. I don't think that's controversial at all. I think all 4 of these damsels are annoying, loud, and useless. They actively hurt the hero. You know, I think they bring nothing. Like, at the very least, with Kristen Dunst, she at least has, like, a couple of good moments in the film, right? With Tobey Maguire, some other stuff right there. And maybe you can even argue Kate Capshaw on Temple of Doom. But the other one, nothing. Nothing but the other ones. But still loud, still annoying. I think MJ gets it. You think she gets a lot of people have argued that she gets a bad rap. I don't know, man. She does some pretty foul shit. I'm not saying like Tobey Maguire's perfect, like Peter Parker's perfect in those movies either. I have my issues with how he's written too, believe me. But man, she does some shit that just doesn't sit well with me. Classic damsels, a lot of classic damsels in this. Actually, it's equal for classic damsel needs help but competent, which is pretty good. You got Anne from the original King Kong. Again, I mean, when I think of a damsel in distress, I think that's one of the images that comes to my immediately is her in that movie. You got Whitney Houston from The Bodyguard. She needs Kevin Costner throughout the entire film. Princess Buttercup, and Robin Wright, obviously, and Princess Bride. I think that makes sense. Got a lot of video game princess. Zelda, Peach, Daphne. All of them need help. All of them need rescuing. Although I would say Zelda and Peach are you know, becoming a little more competent in recent entries. Cinderella, Snow White, I don't think that's any controversy there. Princess Andromeda from Clash of the Titans, she just needs to be rescued. Vicky Vale, good photographer, but needs to be rescued a lot. Liam Neeson's daughter from Taken, I mean, the whole movie's about her just is a damsel in distress, and Liam Neeson's trying to address that. And then Rachel Dawes, where, you know, she, even though she's a good lawyer, one can say, she did electrocute the Scarecrow, and she did punch the Joker in the balls, right? Literally ends with her in distress and then blowing up. So, damsel. Needs help but is competent. I think all these ladies right here are pretty badass. From Mulan to Moana, Princess Leia, Faye Valentine, Evelyn from The Mummy, Marion from Raiders, Rapunzel, Jasmine, Lois Lane, Elizabeth Swann, Lilu, Multipass, and then Gracie Law. Like, they're all competent. They have good moments, but they did need to be rescued at some point. And then the last 3, chat, where these 3, like, I wouldn't even say they're damsels. I wouldn't say, because they don't need no man. All right? They fought. And I think Sidney Prescott, Laurie Strode, and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, those are 3 tough broads, chat. That's my list. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, man. Where is Daphne on this list? Daphne is in Classic Damsel. Classic Damsel. Oh, Ramona Flowers would be an interesting. Ramona Flowers would be a really good one. I would say if I had her on my list right now, I would say needs help but is competent. Because she does need help. She really truly does. Just because of her emotional issues that she has, I think. And just her struggles to maintain the relationships. I mean, no doubt her exes and Scott have a supreme amount of issues. There's no question. But she has issues too. And so I would say needs help, but is pretty competent. That's what I would put with her. Hello, Hamilton Burger. Good to see you. Surprised Lois Lane isn't on the... Oh, Lois Lane is on the list. She's here. She's needs help, but is competent. Yep, she's a Margot Kidder, Lois Lane. Let's see here. Well, we can include James Gunn's version of Daphne, the Mystery Inc. 2010's version. We can't use. Oh, yes. It's fair. Good to see you, Dem. Where's the scariest woman tier list? Scariest woman. I don't have that list. Daphne Blake from Scooby-Doo. Gotcha. Where's Jane Porter from Tarzan? I do not have Jane Porter from Tarzan. If I had Jane Porter from Tarzan, I would also say needs help but is competent. Right? Because she does help Tarzan, despite needing to be rescued. I would say Ramona is the secret villain. Oh, I can see that. I can see that. Definitely. And good to have you, Earl Bartow. Welcome. Oh, man. How are you doing on your business? Oh, it's great. We hit every single goal. It's wonderful. It's been a great time. I just finished the first of my challenges tonight, which is my Damsels in Distress tier list, chat. I don't think these are too controversial, although we certainly could have added some. You guys had some great picks. I like the one for Ramona Flowers especially. That would have been a nice conversation. I like that a lot. But yeah, that's my list, chat, but we're far from done.